Scott, congrats on it was a little touch and go there, maybe with a handful of decisions in a row, but the way the main card sort of wrapped up with the last 3 fights or so was pretty impressive.
I'll tell you, I was talking to Corey Schaefer, our rules director, and he said to me, this is one of the greatest nights of fights that he's ever been associated with. And I really thought about it. I said, you know what, from top to bottom, early on we had some decisions, but once the main card hit, it was electric. So you can see how passionate the fans here are in Hawaii. I think that brought a lot to the table, makes those kids fight hard. And that win by mixed, man, that was spectacular.
Where does that rank, I guess, maybe in some of the all-time finishes that you've had? Because, I mean, from a physical standpoint, it's got to be up there. But given what was on the line, it makes it all the more impressive, it feels like.
And you know what makes it really special is that if you were to ask me, would Mix outstrike Stots? I would think maybe not. Once he got him on the ground, maybe he could do his thing. But his manager showed me a video of him practicing this technique over and over and over about 2-3 weeks ago. So he's been preparing. He saw some move that he could counter on Stots, and he prepared for that strike. And he made it happen because this wasn't some lucky shot. This was a prepared, planned knee strike.
Before Pitbull decided to move down, this was already a pretty exciting division. It was setting up for a pretty exciting conclusion with the unification fight. Now that Pitbull is in the division, man, even more so. So would you say that this is your most exciting division at this point? I mean right now?
I mean, I think that we have several exciting divisions. This is definitely one of them. And I think that Pitbull, when he fights Pettis, is going to be spectacular in June. And then whoever wins that fight, we're going to mix it all up, and he'll come fight Mix. So we got two great fights ahead of us in that weight class. But, man, I love Sabatello. I love Stots. There's so many talented kids in that division that we're going to be able to mix it up a lot. And so this is just, to me, the beginning of what could be another great division to run for all of next year in 24.
Well, and it feels like you get the double whammy because they're talented and then they're also entertaining and they have the personalities to sort of match what they're doing in the cage too.
Yeah, I mean, Stots is awesome. Him and Sabatello had a great, build up to their fight. Great fight, great close matchup. This was really, to me, spectacular. I mean, I said, Patchy, that's the $1 million knee. You have the $1 million knee shot now, and that happened. I don't even know how many seconds in the first round there was. It was like what, 45 seconds or
minute and change maybe.
Change?
So, let's talk about Alima and that fight. Close fight, obviously very very competitive. Most people seem to be unsure who was going to get their hand raised at the end of that one, and as it stands now, it sets up sort of that fairy tale storyline that everybody's kind of been talking about, Alima and Liz potentially. What do you do now with that division? Because the thing that Alima's pushing for, and I think we talked about it the other day, she would really love for you guys to do a 125-pound women's tournament and see it all play out that way. I mean, she feels like that extends her career a little bit.
I mean, I think the first step is for her to fight Liz Carmouche. That's like top priority. By winning this fight against Watanabe, who was, extremely competitive, skilled. A lot of folks thought it could have went either way, and it was a tight fight. But getting the decision puts her right in the sights of Liz, and we got to do that fight. Do we do it here? I don't know, because the Blaisdell is being closed for remodeling. We'll talk to Stan Sheriff Center, see what's available. But listen, that fight we can promote anywhere. I mean, that's a big time fight, and those two girls have had great runs in their martial arts career, and we would love to promote that fight before the end of the year.
Do you think that Alima would take that fight if it wasn't in Hawaii, if she thought that there was potential that it would be her last fight and she would retire, whether she won or lost?
I mean, we got to talk to her about it,
okay.
But sometimes geographical locations are tough, and we have a business to operate as well, and we're a fight company that has to continue to throw fights, and so if we can't get a Stan Sheriff Center and you can't come here, I mean, you're kind of like, what, are you going to wait another 2 years or 3 years until you remodel? It's something that we'll have dialogue. I mean, we have good relationships with these athletes, and we're going to have a conversation, and we'll do our best to accommodate her. That's what I'd say.
Sure. Talk to me about Yancy Medeiros. He's a guy who you guys signed last year. Had some struggles, got released from the other organization, came on with you guys, put on an exciting fight a year ago, and then obviously has pretty thrilling finish tonight in front of the home fans. I guess, how happy are you that the timing was right for you guys to be able to bring him on, and that it sort of worked out the way it did?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the kid's talented, but don't forget, Yancy fought for Strikeforce.
Sure, yeah.
So
you knew him forever, yeah.
Yeah, we fought. He's been around a long time.
Yep.
And we've had a relationship with him for a long time, and I think he wanted to come back. And it's his career. He's not in the first quarter of the game, but to put on fights like that, and you saw how passionate the fans are for him here. I mean, he's gonna have. I think he's gonna have another run at trying to get up and move up in the rankings, and let's see how he does.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you thought that maybe this is a chance for him to have a kind of a career resurgence over here with you guys.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, listen, it's happened before. I mean, we've developed and had rebuilt careers of many great fighters. I don't want to name them all, but some of them that are, having big fights and still fighting and competing today.
Scott, you've been a part of martial arts for most of your life, so I imagine when you see fighters fight, you have an eye for talent. And I wanted to ask about Sumiko Inaba. What, A, your thoughts are as a martial artist, and B, toward the business side. She fought a step up that most people don't realize. Vita Ortega is very tough, but do you see her taking even another step up, maybe more prominent places on the platform? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like she's extremely talented. She has a big future ahead of her, and we're gonna sit down, talk to the fight team next week about when we fight her again, and where she fights and who she fights. But she showed me a lot today. Fought a seasoned veteran that's been around, had many fights, a lot more fights than her. Great striking ability. And the fight didn't go to the ground as far as I can recall, but I'm sure she's working on that too. So, to me, the sky's the limit. She's young, she's athletic. I think she's gonna be a problem for a lot of people in that weight class.
Absolutely. And last one for me, you can't make too many decisions on the night of. Obviously, you don't have these answers as far as dates for when you're coming back next. But speaking of Inaba, speaking of McFarlane, and the crowd that you already cited, do these things play a factor in your guys' decision-making and perhaps maybe speeding up the process of coming back here?
I mean, traditionally we've done one event a year in Hawaii, and the two events, the military event and first responders event, and then we've done the fight on Saturday night for the general public. That's kind of been our business cycle once a year. But listen, you don't have to ask me or my staff to come back to Hawaii. You don't have to ask us twice. Believe me, it'd be fun. It'd be great. My staff loves it. Everybody loves it here. The guys in the production truck were already booking travel, and I said, "Hold on, let's hold on, boys. Just wait a minute." But it'd be fun. But we, like I said, we have a lot of dates ahead that we have already scheduled, and we have a lot of dates that we have scheduled that aren't even announced yet. So, we're kind of busy at the end of the year. If this fight could fit, could we talk to the stand sheriff and maybe, get a date? We'll see. But it's been difficult getting a date over there in the past. So, we'll see.
Hi, Scott. Brian McInnes with Spectrum News Hawaii. I was actually going to ask you a follow-up about the stand sheriff. And, yeah, if there had been past discussions or where those have ended up, how far those might have gone, if there's any more you could add on that. So,
yeah, we met with them about, I would say pre-COVID, we met with them just to have a conversation and see if it was possible. They have so many, volleyball games and basketball games. There's a busy venue, much busier than I thought. So it was tough getting a date that worked. And, it's a nice venue. We'd love to have a conversation. Listen, the Blaisdell's been a great home to us. We love it here. This is where all the great fights happened for the last 20, 30 years. I mean, when I think about MMA in the 90s, Super Bowl, I think of Rumble on the Rock. I think of, Icon Sports. I think of Dennis Alexio when he fought here in kickboxing back in the day. I was here. I saw it all, man. This is like, the Mecca, right? This is like Lumpini Stadium in Bangkok. This is like the old Yankee Stadium. This is the place where all the great fights happen. I think about Egan and Inouye. I think about Falanico Vitali. I think about, they've had such great talent here. So, to me, this is the Yankee Stadium of MMA in Hawaii. If it's not available, we have to look for the other venues. But you know, it's been tough getting a date or getting any kind of conversation going. But we'll see. I mean, my understanding is that they're going to close this down for a bit of time. So if we want to come back here, we're going to have to find an alternative site.
Jay?
Thanks very much, Scott. Congrats on 2 great events. I wanted to go back to last night for just a moment. Danny Sabatello, after the fight, said he wants on the Chicago card, called out Magomedov, I believe it, so he'll take anyone. Is that something you can make happen for him?
You know, I would love to put Danny on that card. The card is extremely crowded right now, but I told my fight team today that if there's injuries or something happens to some of the bigger fights, please keep Sabatello in mind, because I think he should fight in Chicago. That guy is, listen, he's a great wrestler. He's a great talker, a great promoter. But he's showing me now that he can actually become a great fighter. And he's getting better and better and better every time I see him fight. So we'd love to have him fight in Chicago if it's available. And then if not, we're going to get him back into the cage as soon as possible.